sick of half these security guards around here. And I get it, you got to protect the field and everything, but you got all these 12-year-olds running around out here.
Yeah.
But you walk by and there's badges around your freaking neck, they go ape shit. And I'm not running the camera. It's a badge on my neck. It's going to get caught. Yeah, I got shit.
He's coming. I know that. He's like, no. He's like, no. I'm like, no, I'm going. Sorry.
Talk to me about it.
Yeah.
Coach, we'll start with an opening statement, and then we'll go to Dave Jones.
So, like always, I want to thank you guys for covering Penn State football. Obviously, I've been doing this for 26 years, 12 years as a head coach. I'm very proud of this team. I'm very proud of that locker room. We faced as much adversity in this game as I've been around. We had 35 guys out for one reason or another, 21 guys because of the flu, 14 guys who had the flu and played through it. Thursday, it looked like a hospital ward in there. There was IVs everywhere. Friday was the same way. We didn't have a scholarship quarterback at Friday's practice. We weren't sure what was going to happen. So the way the guys stuck together, a bunch of guys obviously that played and hadn't played all year long in significant roles, I'm just really proud. Special teams did a great job of controlling field position. The defense played lights out again. First time in program history we've held two Big Ten opponents to shutouts the same season. So a lot of good things. Obviously a lot of things to correct as well. Hopefully we'll get everybody back. We had a few more issues here after the game. Hopefully we'll get everybody back for next week because obviously we're going to need it on the road against a great opponent. So I want to thank the fans. I want to thank all the people that worked the game. We had great attendance all year long, which is important for us as a program, but also important for the community, and we recognize that. So open up the questions. I think it's Dave Jones. Is that correct?
Dave Jones, then Craig Meyer.
So, Christian Veilleux, Roberson, weeks back, you had to make this decision on who was going to be the backup. Fans are going to ask, why wasn't this kid your backup originally?
Yep.
What's he?
Yeah, well, a couple things. They're allowed to get better, right? At that point, it was not obvious that he was the backup quarterback. I also don't know if going on the road at Iowa, number 2 in the country, in his first 3 possessions at the -1, the -2, and the -1, Taekwon had been in the program longer, and really it was pretty obvious to everybody that he gave us the best chance at that stage to win. Obviously, after the way Veilleux played today, I get the question. I understand it totally. But he's just gotten better. You got to remember, he didn't even play football his senior year. His season got canceled because of COVID. So he just keeps getting better. What I was proud of him is just how poised he was today. Very poised. Made some plays with his leg, made some big-time throws, made some checks. So obviously it's something to build on. I get the question, but he's gotten better. That's the difference, and that's the reason.
Craig Meyer, and then Audrey Snyder.
Hey, James. You had talked about voice. What are some of the biggest areas for
Yeah, what I told you before was still true. There really wasn't a gap. So at one point, you're saying, with Taekwon, the guy had been in the program, been around, had done some good things. Hadn't really seen him in significant times. Obviously, you don't find out until they're in there. But then as time went on, the gap wasn't widening. So you felt like, with the amount of time he's had in the program, it should be wider. And Veilleux just kind of continued to get better. Obviously, had a better understanding of the game plan and the plays. He started to know it inside and out. I thought the live rep work that we were able to get with Taekwon and Veilleux all season on Sundays, it's live but the quarterbacks. I thought that helped. Did some really good things, but it also allowed us to compare those two guys in everything but the quarterback being live, which I think continued to grow his confidence and our confidence in him. I think there's a big difference between being home in this environment against this opponent compared to that one. I got a ton of respect for Taquan Roberson, and he's done all the things right since he's been here, and two very different situations that we're talking about as well. Got a ton of respect for Taquan too.
Audrey Snyder, then Neil Rudell.
James, Sean pregame, when did you know that he was going to be able to go? Because I didn't see him warming up. And afterwards, what's his status?
Yeah, so you know, what happened was we had a wave of this illness, right? And then come Friday morning, the second wave hit us. And that's when we didn't have a quarterback. All the quarterbacks were there earlier in the week, and then all of a sudden they all got knocked out. So after Sean got the first round of IVs, he felt like he could go. That was, I guess, Friday night. Then woke up, we're all waiting, everybody's at breakfast. We told him to sleep in. He got another round of IVs and felt like he could go. So he wasn't out at warm up because he was getting IVs. So obviously I'm hopeful that this thing will run through its course on the team, and we'll have everybody back for next week, which we're going to need to, and go from there.
Neil Rudell, then Mike Gross.
James, your comment to the quarterback club assuring that you're not going anywhere. Do you plan to disclose that to everybody else?
Were you at the quarterback club?
I was not.
No. You got some friends that were there. Yeah. I'd like to right now to talk about Rutgers. I get it. I'd like to talk about Rutgers. I made that statement because I thought something was going to happen a little bit sooner. Tuesday, we could talk about that as much as you guys want to talk about that. I'd like to talk about Rutgers. I get it, and I understand the question. Like I've tried to tell you guys before, these things are much more complicated than just simple yes and no answers. And with me, I just am always trying to be as transparent as possible and tell you guys what I know. And when I say something, it's going to happen. So if we could wait till Tuesday, I'd appreciate it. But I also understand the question. If you were at the quarterback club, maybe different deal, but you don't come to the quarterback club.
Mike Gross and Rich Scarcella.
James, it seemed like the offensive line was a particular sort of center of this illness. So you had to play some guys who have not played before at all, and also different combinations, different positions, with the communication that has to happen within that group.
And then Juice went down. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I almost came and got you out of the stands.
So the question is, how do you... Well, that might have been a difference maker if you got
In which direction?
for the State University of New Jersey, maybe. So anyway, how do you feel like that went in terms of the whole package of it?
I thought once they settled down pretty good. We had Caden in the beginning of the game. He was like Sean. We weren't sure if he was going to go. He tried to go and then wasn't able, and now you're playing a true freshman and Landon Tangwell out there. You got Effner playing a bunch. There's a lot of moving parts. But I thought they battled. I think Greg's a really good defensive coach. They do a great job on the defensive side of the ball. They were pressuring us and going cover zero. And I thought our guys battled, and I thought Vayu did a good job of escaping the pocket a few times and a couple times hanging in there and delivering a tough throw. The touchdown throw that we ran on the Dino wheel was a big time play with people in his face. So, it'll be great film to watch. It'll be great to learn from. Hopefully we'll have a few of those guys back because we're going to need them next week, like I mentioned before.
Rich Scarcella and Tyler Donahue.
James, was Curtis Jacobs part of the guys who had the virus, or was it something else? And secondly, your defense, how important was for them to pitch the shutout, and where do you think they're playing right now?
Yeah, our defense is playing unbelievable. We had great field position that we weren't able to take advantage of early in the game through special teams and playing great defense. Curtis was one of these guys that literally at breakfast, Elsden starts to throw up and Curtis starts to throw up. They hadn't had it. So it was like the defense got hit with it early in the week, and then they were able to get through it, and then the offensive got hit late in the week, and then a few defensive guys. So it was, I'm telling you guys, between throw up and IV, it was an interesting week. I've literally, I've never been through something like this, especially at this point of the season when you're already banged up. So just ton of respect for our guys and how they handled it. They never flinched. They never panicked. Our defense has been playing great all year long. I'm really proud of the guys. You know, there's not a whole lot more to say than that, but that's as much adversity as I've seen a program withstand in 1 week.
Tyler Donahue, then John Sauber.
James, we got a little peek into the chaos pregame because you had Christian with the ones and then Sean was introduced to the starter at the same time. When did Christian
Say that again. I didn't hear you say.
Yeah,
Sean was what?
Christian was working with the ones and then Sean on the board here was introduced as the starter at the same time.
To be honest, I don't know if the board was very accurate. We give that list way ahead of time.
But in general, when did Christian know he was not going to be the starter, and how do you think he handled
Well,
today?
to be honest with you, we didn't know that Christian was. We weren't sure if Christian was going to go last night. It was going to be Mason Stahl. Mason Stahl took all the reps. And then Friday morning, I'm like sitting in the hallway, and as they come down, and they're all going over to get temperatures to see if they could get cleared, and it's like, Vayu's cleared. You're like, ah! And then he goes in to have breakfast, and then Sean, they just let stay up there. So, I mean, literally, it was that. It was like up to the hour. So, and we were gaining guys and we were losing guys that became sick. So that the board is not very accurate. We're just adjusting on the fly as we could. You know, Andy Mutton and the trainers and the doctors did a phenomenal job. But like we have a group me that goes out, a staff group me, and it was like buzzing, you know, and you're just hoping for positive news.
When the New Year starter was Sean Wynn.
So I guess what happened was he didn't come out, and the lady from TV asked me, and I go, I don't know. She goes, you really don't know? I said, no, I got to ask the doctors and trainers where he's at because he never came out for warm-up. And then he felt like he could go. The doctors and trainers felt like he could go. Obviously, had missed practice time. He hadn't eaten, you know, the IVs, the whole deal. Again, felt like he gave us the best opportunity based on experience and not having a whole lot available behind him. And then obviously Vayu was able to go and Sean wasn't able to go anymore. And he came to the sideline after the third series or whatever it was. I said, Sean, I'm gonna go with Vayu. He goes, yeah, I get it.
Last question to John Sauber.
James, you mentioned that you improved a lot in the last month. Where specifically did you see him improve, and where did you need to see him improve?
Yeah, I think I got asked that question, but I'll repeat it again. His grasp and understanding of the playbook and knowing it inside and out. Him being able to adjust protections. You know, when you see a young quarterback in there, what are you going to do? You're going to light him up with blitzes and pressures. So adjusting the protection. You know, it's not just knowing the plays. You got to know your plays so well that you can focus on the defense. And then obviously, he's been able to get more reps. We've transitioned him into the number 2, and he's gotten more reps. So kind of a combination of all those things. Him building confidence in himself and building confidence in us. I also mentioned the Sunday scrimmages that have been live for Taekwon and Vayu to be able to evaluate those two guys. We don't have preseason, so sometimes it's challenging to be able to do that. But I get the question. Trust me. What is it, hindsight? Yeah, I get it. Trust me.